Next, Proposition 24, Consumer Personal Information Law and Agency Initiative. It's getting long. Okay, let's do it. Yes vote supports the ballot initiative to expand the state consumers' data privacy laws, including provisions to allow consumers to direct businesses to not share their personal information, remove the time period in which businesses can fix violations before being penalized, and create the Privacy Protection Agency to enforce the state's consumers' data privacy laws. No vote opposes the ballot initiative to expand the state consumer data privacy laws to create the Privacy Protection Agency or to enforce the state's consumers' data privacy law. So just no for the yes. What would this challenge change about CCPA? So Proposition 24, also known as the California Privacy Rights and Enforcement Act of 2020, would expand or amend the provisions of the California Consumer Privacy Act of 2018. So I guess we already passed something like this. Create the California Privacy Protection Agency, so we're creating another government agency, and remove the ability of business to fix violations before being penalized for violations. That's actually not a bad idea. But I can see where that can get fucked. I can see where the big companies can fail, but I can see where small companies can get fucked too. Interesting. But a lot of these big companies are the tech companies. So where am I? Before I'm penalized, the ballot initiative will require business to do the following: not share consumers' personal information upon the consumer's request. Isn't that already a thing? If I say don't share my information, can you still share it? Really? Provide consumers with an opt-out option for having their sensitive personal information as defined in law used or disclosed for advertising or marketing. A lot of these companies already have something like this. You can go into your settings and remove your personal information from the advertisements. You're still going to get advertisements, but they're not going to be related to you. Obtain permission before collecting data from consumers who are younger than 16. Who are you going to obtain permission from? Who are you going to enter into a contract with if they're not over 18? Obtain permissions from a parent or guardian before collecting data from consumers who are younger than 13. How the hell are you going to do that? Are the parents just going to be like, the kid's just going to go, yes, yes? Like, if it's just an option on the phone, please show this screen to your parents. Please, that seems fucking retarded. Correct the consumer's inaccurate personal information upon the consumer's request. You don't correct inaccurate personal information? That seems like a lazy company. Okay, how is this campaign connected to CCPA legislation? How is a campaign connected? Okay. San Francisco-based Christopher filed this ballot initiative. He was proponent of ballot initiative that qualified for the ballot 2018, but was withdrawn after negotiation with the county, which passed a revised version of the initiative called the California Consumer Privacy Act of 2018. McTaggart contributed $3 million to the initiative campaign, which spent blah, blah, blah. With Proposition 24, McTaggart said his intention is to go on to the ballot. He described the CCPA of 28 as a great baseline, but I think there's additional rights that California deserve. Unlike the CCPA, which the legislature passed, the ballot initiative couldn't be amended without the approval of voters at this ballot box due to the state constitution limits on legislative alteration. The only thing I want to make sure is that they can't undo the act. There's basically unlimited resources on one side of the fight. If you don't do anything, they will eventually win. They will win eventually. True. Senator somebody was involved in negotiating this McTaggart. There is no reason to negotiate this time, adding what McTaggart is doing is the right thing. Mary Stone Ross, she says, I firmly believe we wouldn't have the CCPA had it not been for the ballot initiative process, but I think now it's gone too far. Don't know what the hell it's supposed to mean. All right. Holy shit. So, compliance with Proposition 24. Let's just look at Proposition 24. I don't want to care about 28. Oh, let's compare them. Forget that. So Proposition 24 would define which businesses are required to follow the law's requirement regarding consumer data. The following table compares the types of businesses that would be required to follow the consumer's data laws under the existing CCPA of 2018 and Proposition 24. So businesses that earn $25 million in annual revenue, same thing. Businesses that purchase, sell, or share personal information of 50,000 or more consumers' household device each year. Businesses that can purchase, sell, or 100,000. So smallish companies to huge companies, 100,000 consumers or more. When it comes to data, I don't know if that's that much, but okay. Earn 25 million in revenue. Okay. 100,000 people. Okay. Businesses that earn 50% or more of their annual revenue from selling consumers' personal information. So this is probably going to be like the Facebooks and stuff. Okay. Consumers. Oh, snaps. Proposition 24 would provide consumers with additional abilities regarding how businesses interact with their consumer data. Proposition 24 would require businesses to not share or sell consumers' personal information to third parties upon the consumer's request. Okay. Disclose whether the business collects sensitive personal information, the types of sensitive personal information collected, the purpose for which the sensitive personal information will be collected, and the length of time that the business intends to retain the sensitive personal information. I'm pretty sure all of these are already detailed in terms and service agreements that we all fucking agree to without even reading. Because they can change them at any time without your permission. There you go, they're new now. Provide consumers with an opt-out option for having their sensitive personal information used or disclosed for advertising or marketing. This is already kind of an option. It kind of is. A lot of companies already do this. Google does this, YouTube does this. It's the main ones I use. I'm pretty sure other companies can exclude you from ads and shit. Oh, but maybe, interesting. So obtain permissions before collecting data from consumers who are younger than 16. How? Just another box on the fucking thing? Are you over 18? Yeah, who's not gonna lie, bro? Come on. Obtain permissions from a parent or guardian before collecting data from consumers who are younger than 13. How do you get parental permissions? You have to get an email to the parents? Get out of here. Correct the consumer's inaccurate personal information upon the consumer's request. I don't understand why the hell that's not in. The requirements listed above would be in addition to the requirements under the CCPA of 28, which require businesses to disclose consumers' personal information that has been collected about the consumer and the commercial purposes of the information collected upon the consumer's request. Oh, so that's that Facebook thing I saw like a year or two ago where they showed you all the information they have and all the apps that you're using for your Facebook or that you're using Facebook with. All the logins, yeah, they're related to something. So yeah, they all go back to Facebook, and Facebook keeps all this information. So all the apps you've ever logged in with, Facebook knows all of this. Not sell consumers' personal information to third parties upon the consumer's request. Seems, yeah, that's already there. Delete the consumer's personal information upon the consumer's request, and so this is already here. So these things are already here. So okay, Proposition 24 would define sensitive personal information as personal information that reveals consumers' social security, driver's license, state identification card, or passport number, a consumer's account login, financial account, debit card number or credit card number in combination with any required codes, passwords, or credentials, allowing access to an account, a consumer's precise geolocation. A consumer's precise geolocation. That's interesting. Because if you didn't know, apps have very, very good geolocation. Such good geolocation. It doesn't tell you, well, it can tell you the option of city, but what it actually does is figure out 34.13921255553155, latitude 14.1399995532. That's the actual data you can get from your phone, and from that they can then determine you're in this city or this state or this street or whatever the hell. So yeah, they have that information. Consumers' racial or ethnic origin. How the hell do you get this information? Religious or philosophical beliefs, union membership, contents of consumers' mail, I guess it meant mail, not mall. Email and text messages, unless the business is an intended recipient of the communication. A consumer's genetic data. Yeah. A consumer's biometric information for the purpose of identifying the consumer. Information concerning the consumer's health and information concerning consumer's sex life or sexual orientation. Oh, shit. So when it comes to like the 23andMe and the Ancestry like websites, that's the consumer's genetic data because they keep your data. I think they still keep your data after they give you the results. They keep the data for whatever the hell reason they say they keep their data. Interesting. So exemptions. There's so many exemptions. Vehicle information or vehicle ownership information or shared between vehicle dealers. Okay. Consumer credit standing, reputation, worthiness for the purpose of consumer reports. Personal information collected by a business for a job application is used within the context of the consumer's role as a job applicant, employer, or independent contractor. Emergency contact. So all this information can still be used by these companies. Yeah, this basic information by you. Personal information collected by business that is needed to administer employee benefits. Emergency contact information. So it can be race and all this kind of stuff. Students' grades, educational scores, or educational tests. Oh, these are exemptions. Perfect. Penalties. The thing is, what penalties go up? Up to $2,500 for each violation, up to $7,000 for anybody under 16, $750 for consumer data breach per data breach incident or actual damages. So depending if it actually costs money or a data breach, $700 per consumer is a lot. So let's check this. So this is the agency they're going to create, California Privacy Protection Agency. Administrative power, authority, and jurisdiction to implement and enforce the consumer data laws. Example of the CCPA's duty would include investigating and educating potential violations, assessing penalties for violations, developing regulations, providing guidance for the business and consumers, monitoring development is related to the protection of personal information, and promoting public awareness of consumers' rights in relation to personal information data. And Proposition 24 would require the legislature to appropriate $10 million to the CPPA during each fiscal year. Oh, that's interesting. So it seems to be changing a lot. It really does seem to be changing a lot. Permits consumers, ballot summary. Permits consumers to prevent businesses from sharing personal information. 2, correct inaccurate and personal information. 3, limit businesses' use of sensitive personal information, including precise geolocation, race, ethnicity, religion, and genetic data, private communication, sexual orientation, and specified health information. That doesn't sound bad. Establishes the California Privacy Protection Agency to additionally enforce and implement consumer privacy laws and impose fines. That sounds like more bureaucracy. This is where we start getting in trouble. Changes criteria for which businesses must comply with laws. You read that above. Prohibit business retention of personal information for longer than reasonably necessary. I agree with that. Triple maximum penalties for violations concerning consumers under the age of 16. I guess. Authorizes civil penalties for theft of consumer login information as specified. Yeah, if they can use your stuff, then authorizes civil penalties. You get money? All right, fiscal impact, $10 million annually for a new state agency. Increased state costs, likely to go to the millions of dollars for increased court and Department of Justice enforcement workload. Some of these costs would be paid by penalties collected violations of consumer privacy laws. Unknown impact on state local tax revenue due to economic effect resulting from the requirements on business to protect consumer data. You might start suing a ton of these companies and making tons of money. Potential. Let's see who's supporting it. Always got to check who's supporting it. So, bunch of Democrats. Okay. Andrew Yang, random Democrat. Supporting yes on 24. I can see where he's supporting this. But yeah, well, let's just keep going. California Professional Firefighters, that's random. State Building Construction Trades Council, California, NAACP State Conference, Common Sense, Consumer Watchdog. Interesting. Opposition, Green Party, Libertarian Party, and Republican Party. Whoa. That's insane. Did the Democratic Party support this? Democratic Party did not support this bill. That's interesting. Very interesting. So the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and the Republican Party support this. Whoa. That's insane. Even though I disagree with Dolores Huerta on the other one, why are they against it? Let's check the Libertarian Party, because that's what I would assume would be most for this. Actually, no, go back. Oh, man. Now we're stuck in the lag. It's all good. Oh, no. All right, Libertarian Party, show me what you got. The platform, elections. No, that's not what we're looking for. Never mind. So it's interesting that they're opposing. Interesting. Center for Digital Democracy, California Small Business Association. So the California Small Business Association is not with this. League of Women Voters, Consumer Federation of California. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's read some of these arguments. No one reads the thousands of words of legal fine print that you have to accept before you can use an app or visit a website. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The fine print is where you sacrifice your privacy. The same is true of Proposition 24. Its 52 pages are full of privacy reductions and giveaways to Facebook, social media platforms, and big tech companies that misuse our personal information. Shit. This might be a big tech ploy to take any other competition out, because to go through this legal framework of bullshit is it's insane, and the only people who can do it are people with tons of money. It's the same thing that happened in the cannabis industry, where they're making so many weird fucking laws that only people who are able to go through this is people with substantial backing. Interesting. So let's read another one. Director of National Priorities at Consumer Action. Interesting. Besides sowing confusion among voters, the initiative could reduce privacy rights that Californians gain under recently enacted law. It appears that Prop 24 would allow businesses to create new pay-for-privacy schemes. Tech companies could downgrade service to those who cannot or will not pay an extra fee. This is unfair to low-income consumers, seniors, and people of color who are already struggling to afford essential high-speed internet connections while enduring a pandemic and massive unemployment. We fear Prop 24 would undermine existing California privacy regulations by making it more burdensome for consumers to prohibit big tech companies from selling their confidential data. Really? So it's in the fine print. Look at Proposition 24 asks you to vote for what is in effect a privacy poll tax. Wow. Interesting. Okay, let's read the pro arguments. Let me read one of these pro arguments. We've come a long way in the 2 years since passing the landmark California Consumer Privacy Act, but during these times of unprecedented uncertainty, we need to ensure that these laws keep pace with the ever-changing ways corporations and other entities are using our data. That's where our campaign is going to make sure that all Californians know about the new and stronger rights provided under this ballot measure, the California Privacy Rights Act, and why we need their support in November. He didn't tell me anything. Let's go with Andrew Yan. Let's see what he says. Other proposals simply do not match the strength and thoughtfulness of Prop 24. Alternatives would require other online business to offer their services for free, even if the businesses don't have any alternative model to create revenue. This is unsustainable. As we've seen for years, if a service is free, the user is a product. Requiring the type of digital system would further marginalize privacy and data rights and make it nearly impossible to provide consumers with meaningful control over their information. But most importantly, Prop 24 provides California greater control over their data. If they don't like business or don't trust its privacy protections, consumers can tell it that it can't sell their personal information, and businesses are prohibited from unfairly punishing consumers for exercising these rights. This is a strong new protection and puts control where it belongs, with the consumer. No, it doesn't. It puts control with the government. It gives more government mandates for what apps can and cannot do. And I don't think we should be limited with that. I think people, I mean, if you don't want to use YouTube and go through the laws, don't use YouTube, use something else. If you don't want to use Facebook, use something else. If you don't want to use Instagram, use something else. If all you're going to do is bitch and whine, these companies are doing this or that, this is the fucking game that we're playing. Bitching and whining is not going to do anything. Making more regulations is not going to do anything, especially when these people have teams and teams and teams of lawyers to be able to loophole through this bullshit regulations. So a better choice than a proposition for this, and a better choice in enforcing all these things would be, sorry, to, one second. Oh, I stopped the sharing as I started coughing. That's insane. Where was I at? Oh yeah, a better way to remedy all this is to create better alternatives and to have apps that already do this, to say, do you want us to sell your data? Can we sell your data? Like, if an app starts giving me the option, I would much rather that be done than a company being forced to do something by the government. No, man, let's make this all about freedom. Give me the option and I'll say no. And I'll go to you because you give me the option and you give me freedoms. But don't be mandated by the government for everything. This is what I'm tired of. I'm tired of all these government fucking mandates. Government is not, it tries to whittle down your life into just a little margin of whatever the fuck they want it to be. And no, you can't be protected by everything for everything. And when you fuck up, they should people should pay. Like, you should be compensated when other groups and people fuck up. But giving the government more power is not the key. It is just not. So I'm gonna vote no on Prop 24. I'm just not gonna give the government more power and let them create another agency, because this is gonna. I can see this fucking the backlash on this. Smaller company who does 110,000 and does sell their data because they're a small app and selling data is very profitable, and then they're gonna get fucked. Unlike Facebook and YouTube and Google, until you actually start regulating those motherfuckers, you can't really expect me to believe we're gonna regulate everyone else but these big ass companies. No. So I'm gonna vote no. Just more regulations and more bullshit now.